we know we like talking Steelers here, but we also like talking ball about everything. And I don't know however many people are here or hanging out with us are Pitt or Penn State fans. But I thought we want to give a couple minutes to Mason Heintschel, University of Pittsburgh, freshman
Try to tell
quarterback,
them.
18 years old.
Try to tell them.
Going down there looking like a young Baker Mayfield down there. I don't know if it's because of the number 6, but I'm watching that game. I had to watch it on later on at night, and I finished it on early Sunday morning. But Mason is absolutely balling. Now, I went down there with Harry Paceras, the Pitt Guru, for those who are watching. And, if you saw, we were on talking with JJ. He was by far the best guy in spring ball.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There you go, Adam. Hail to Pitt. This man is super, super impressive. And by the way, go check out JJ Kitchen's Talking Football JJ Kitchen on Sunday. We broke down some film just like we did here with the Steelers on some throws that Mason made that I was super, super impressed. But GB, I have not had a chance to talk to you since the Florida State game. What were your impressions quickly on Pitt taking out the Florida State Seminoles?
I'm gonna start with a story. So shout out to my man Matt Neese if he's watching today. Uh, we were at McGuffey on Friday night, getting ready for the shellacking of Avonworth beating up on the McGuffey Highlanders, and I tapped Mr. Neese, Coach Neese, on the shoulder, and I said to him, I said, "So when our Pitt Panthers upset the Florida State Seminoles
Mm-hmm.
in about 24 hours, because of that freshman quarterback, Mason Heintschel, you heard it from me first." And he kind of looked at me like, and I said it just like this, just as matter of factly as I just said it to you right now. Because I witnessed what he did. And everybody was talking about, oh, it's Boston College. That's still a D1 school last time I checked. And
Mm-hmm.
he absolutely destroyed them. First game, and it looked like he'd been playing college football for the last 3 years. That you can't teach that. You cannot teach like that confidence, that moxie, that poise that he has.
It's
He
called
does
it.
the game doesn't get too big for him at
No.
any like ever. Like it's
Mm-mm.
unreal, So
Yeah.
watching that game at the beginning, it really felt like a lot. And I even tweeted out, I was like, man, this felt like a lot like last week. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
We
there was
started
a
10 of
couple.
11 again.
There was a couple of spots, right? There was a couple of spots, that the Tallahassee crowd might have got to him a little bit, but then he rose to the occasion at the end of the day. And that's the one thing I really just, I'm so impressed with this dude, man. He in these first 2 games, I mean, you can't expect anything better than what he's put on display. And I said this to my buddies, and I'm gonna say it to everybody. I'm like, look, don't be surprised if they run, and I said this after the Boston College game. I said, don't be surprised if they run the table and finish this game to finish this season out undefeated. I said, with the exception of Miami, but don't be
Notre
surprised.
Dame, Georgia Tech, and
I ain't
Miami, the
worried about
final
it. I ain't
three,
worried
man.
about it. I ain't worried
That's
about
rough,
it.
but
Nope,
hey, we'll see.
nope. I ain't worried about Notre Dame. I ain't worried
Mm,
about them or Georgia Tech.
mm, mm.
Miami, on the other hand, they on a whole different level, and I'm sure that your Tallahassee loving ass was not feeling that at all.
Listen, yeah, and just so everybody knows, yes, I am a Florida State fan after Pitt. Pitt first, Florida State second. That's Florida State is my second team, but I'm rooting like hell for Pitt to beat Florida State. I'm don't get that twisted, but I am a Knowles fan, have been since I was a kid. But if they're playing Pitt, I'm a Pitt fan.
Yeah,
So,
no doubt.
but Mason, I'm gonna tell. I had a couple notes, and I want to bring wrap this up. And I have Mark has a question here about Pitt, but timely runs and scrambles.
Hmm.
That's what again, and the way he throws the ball. I'm looking at this. I'm like, this is Baker Mayfield. I know there's all the Kenny Pickett comparisons because it's the freshman year, things like that. It's a
He's better
completely
than
different
that.
game than Kenny Pickett. As much as I loved Kenny at Pitt, it's a completely different guy.
It is.
I am hindsight 2020. I'm glad that he threw those 2 interceptions because we got to see what he would do after those. And I know at one point, and they were both at the end of the first half, and at one point, I believe in the fourth quarter, he was 8 for 12 for 160 and a touchdown. He rebounded well.
Yeah, he rebounded. Yes.
He threw a couple great balls over the middle to Poppy Williams. And again, we broke that film down on JJ's podcast. So go check that out. And the adversity he played with was just it was a big test Florida State's not what they used to be, but it was still a top 20 atmosphere in college football. And he came through and he played well. But Mark's question, and GB, I want to give you the floor on this one, is I think the answer is yes. And Mark, and I'm like a comparison guy too. Do you not see Darren Sproles in Desmond Reed?
Absolutely.
I'll give you the first thing. I have my quick thoughts, but your thoughts on Reed getting drafted.
Absolutely. Before we go in that real quick, I wanted to mention something about Heintschel. That second pick, Kenny Johnson had a terrible first part of the game between the punt, and then he fell. He fell down on his route, and it looked really, 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 really bad. Like Heintschel didn't know what he was doing, but Kenny Johnson fell on the freaking ground, and and that was that. And he threw it right to because that's where Kenny Johnson was supposed to be in front of the safety, I believe it was. He was supposed to be right there in front of him. That's where he was throwing to. Yeah, but he fell down. But back to Des Reed though. Des Reed is 1,000% going to get drafted. He does remind me of he does have a Darren Sproles kind of game to him. And I think he's going to be one of those, he'll be one of them cheat codes that you bring him out on third down and put him in space and let him do what he do. They remind me, and I was telling I think I was telling my son, the running backs remind me a lot of like the old West Virginia running backs, the Noel Devines and the Steve Slaytons of the world, like them little, them little quick twitchy dudes. And I really
Turner played a great game.
Boosie,
great game.
Great game. Boosie, yes, dude.
Yes, I think you're probably going to see Reed like in the third round type deal because he's going to be a change of pace type back. So you're not going to get him. I think a team's going to. I think he's going to go to like a playoff type team, and he's going to be a difference maker.
He's a more explosive LaRod Stevens-Howling.
It's a good call.
And LaRod was explosive too. Like he was bad. He was bad, but
so
when Des get out, bro, it's a wrap, bro.
Last topic for tonight. And I want this to be a combo topic because I just I'm not a Penn State guy. I know they're a great program, but I'm not a fan. Famous Amos. Mark put famous Amos, too. Famous Amos a little bit bigger, but that's same type of back. Good call, Mark. With Franklin being fired, first off, I don't know. I mean, there's rumors that Adidas had influence on this, and I went on a little Twitters. I think I started a forest fire on Twitter because I said, because I said, if someone if they're making personnel and coaching decisions in the corporate executive office of Adidas, that's a problem. You can influence and bring people to a school, but if they're telling you to fire a coach who was just in the Final Four of football the previous year, that's a problem. But I do think there were some personal issues there. And like I said, he's fired. Oh, well. More importantly, JJ brought up a great point on yesterday. The GB, I want your opinion on this because you're tied into WPIALs because of Avonworth's success in your coaching and such. He had a good point. Pitt is under, I think now, he said, and I agreed with him, under a lot of pressure because there's a lot of kids, WPIAL kids on Penn State that might be looking elsewhere.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. I got a list in front of me. Xavier Thomas, linebacker.
How updated? Because there has been a
10-12 as of
lot
yesterday.
of decommits that's happened today.
Well, they got that running back from McKeesport as a decommit. You
So,
had
interesting point about that, real quick. Interesting point about that, and I had a feeling something was up because he basically decommitted on Friday on freaking live television after the game against Mars after he put up 6 tutties, right? And there was another gentleman, the name escapes me, I can't remember which one it was. He also decommitted that same day.
The kid from Fort Cherry decommitted too.
And Sieg decommitted today. I'm gonna say Gabe Davis. That's not him. Gabriel Jenkins, who was who was also there. He decommitted. He's goes to Amani, and now David Davis, who was also who also plays for Amani. He also decommitted as well.
What about Taekwon Hayes from Aliquippa?
I'm gonna say Tyke. That's gonna be interesting. Quentin Martin. What do you say?
They're not going to get all of them, but man, they can make if Pitt's serious.
A lot.
And I believe they are, because Green, that AD is, what I understand, he's the man. He doesn't take any crap, and he's here to win. And this is why they made the change at the AD position at Pitt. Go get these kids.
Yeah.
You pair them with this young stud quarterback. And let's give Mason a few more games to see how he turns out. But all things are pointing towards that he's going to be good. You put that with them, and then that starts snowballing. Their offensive line played really well against Florida State. The Pitt can build something here. I don't know what the future of Narduzzi holds, and maybe he does hang around a year. I don't know if he's retiring. If he's retiring in 1 year, 2 years, we don't know. But they could be pushing their chips all in, if you will, as the Steelers are, and could be very interesting for Pitt. He said they're probably under a lot of pressure. JJ was saying a lot of pressure to grab these kids and make a run, if you will, at this recruiting thing. At least the local WPIAL recruiting.
That may actually be the thing that keeps Narduzzi here. 2 things: Mason Heintschel.
Yeah,
because you're not going to retire. I'm sorry, you're not going to retire after this season if he continues to play the way he's playing. You're going to want to see that through as a
I agree.
those are dudes you're like, I'm going to stick around a little bit longer, so when you take that and you compound that with the bombshell that basically the Penn State program is, and I'm not really a fan of Penn State, but I am a fan of WPIAL players, and I'm also a fan of WPIAL coaches who have gone to the next level. And Terry Smith, shout out to him, former head coach at Gateway High School, is going to be serving as the interim head coach at Penn State. So kudos,
kudos to him.
Kudos to him. He back in the day he had, you guys remember Justin King. Was on the team back in the day. He had some really good Gateway teams, and he ended up going to Penn State. So I think he might have even been the longest tenured assistant out there, because he's been there for a good 20 years now, I think. So yeah, shout out to him, man, for and I hate that that's his first his first encounter as a head coach, but hopefully he has enough where some of those people will, continue to keep everything pat. It's interesting to see who's going to come out of here as the new. They're going to have to get on it quick, because mid-season, bro. God.
The transfer window is only a week. 2 weeks now versus the whole month.